The Z Flip 6 promises many upgrades over the Z Flip 5, including a new design, bigger battery, and a better camera. So how does the Z Flip 5 compare to the newly announced Z Flip 6? What changed? And is the Z Flip 6 worth it? Let's get into that. But first, hi, I'm Captain Awesome. This is Geekception, and I would really appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe, as it really helps me out here on the channel. First, let's start with a major change here in the build quality, which is that the Z Flip 6 now has a square design versus the rounded design on the Z Flip 5. Not only that, but now the color of the Z Flip 6 is all around the phone, unlike the Z Flip 5, which only has color on the back. And along with that square design, you get a matte finish all around the Z Flip 6 compared to the very glossy and slippery finish on the Z Flip 5. And it seems like such a small change, but as someone who holds the Z Flip 5, this is such a slippery phone, and I really appreciate that the Z Flip 6 is no longer slippery. And most importantly, I don't think it's going to fall out of my hands. Taking a quick tour around both phones, starting with the inner display, which nothing has changed here. It's still the same 6.7-inch display on the Z Flip 6 that you had on the Z Flip 5. The front camera is still the same 10 megapixel as well, and on the outer screen, or the flex window as Samsung calls it, is also the same size here on the Z Flip 6 as the Z Flip 5. And keeping up with the changes here in the camera, if we look at the camera array on the Z Flip 6, it now takes on the same color as the Z Flip 6 that you have, whereas the Z Flip 5 has no color whatsoever. And Samsung mentioned to me that on the Z Flip 6, even if you put a case on the phone, you can still be able to tell what color your phone is. Now, speaking of camera, this is where there's another major change here on the Z Flip 6, which now has an upgraded 50 megapixel camera compared to the 12 megapixel camera that we have on the Z Flip 5, which I think is a major change here because I use the camera a lot on the Z Flip 5, and even though I did not have a lot of complaints with it, I definitely knew that it could be better, and now it is. But the ultra wide camera remains the same at 12 megapixels. On the right side of both phones, the button placements are the same, with the volume buttons and a power buttons that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. On the left side, there is a SIM card slot, which is in the same position, except that on the Z Flip 6, the ejection hole is now at the top instead of the bottom on the Z Flip 5. The hinge to open both phones are pretty similar, and Samsung did not particularly mention any kind of change here, but I did notice that on the Z Flip 6, when you open up the phone, it actually is a lot more straighter than on the Z Flip 5, which has a little bit of a curve to it. And when I run my fingers over the crease right there on the Z Flip 6, it definitely feels a lot more equal as opposed to the Z Flip 5, though when you look at it at some angles, you can definitely still tell on the Z Flip 6 that there is a crease here. Now, moving on to specifications, what changed from the Z Flip 5 to the Z Flip 6? First is the processor. On the Z Flip 5 is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, and here on the Z Flip 6 is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy. Next is RAM. On the Z Flip 6, we now have an upgraded 12 gigs of RAM compared to 8 gigs on the Z Flip 6. And as someone who made a lot of videos, shot a lot of clips on my Z Flip 5, I can definitely tell you that it needed more RAM, and it's nice to be able to have more RAM here on the Z Flip 6. Now, cooling is next, with the Z Flip 6 now having a vapor cooling chamber here, which FYI is the first in the Galaxy Flip line. And again, I have tons of experience using the Z Flip 5, and this phone gets really hot and toasty after you're taking more than a few photos, and I'm so glad that there is now advanced cooling on the Z Flip 6. And I think the other two major updates are in the camera, which the upgraded 50 megapixel camera, as I mentioned earlier, which means that you can now zoom and crop in, which is why there is now a new telephoto zoom mode here on the Z Flip 6, which is so nice. You don't have to worry about if you're going to be in the shot or not, which with the Z Flip 5, sometimes you put the phone and you want to take a photo, but then you're a bit too far and you have to zoom in and then you lose quality. You don't have any of those concerns here on the Z Flip 6. Finally, battery life. So we have a 4000 milliampere battery on the Z Flip 6 now compared to the 3700 on the Z Flip 5, which again is a big major change because yes, on the Z Flip 5 here, I had to charge this at least sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. So I hope with the new processor and with a slightly bigger battery, we can get better battery life here on the Z Flip 6. Galaxy AI and other upgrades. And of course, the Z Flip 6 has Galaxy AI, especially with this new translate mode that makes use of the flex window on the outside to be able to translate what you're saying to the person you're speaking to, and then on the inside screen, you have what the other person is saying translated in real time. I think that was pretty cool. But as a Z Flip 5 user though, I don't think you really have anything to be worried about. I think this will definitely come to the Z Flip 5 with a software update to Galaxy AI, which we did get on the Z Flip 5 already. So yeah, I think that should come in a future software update. The flex window on the Z Flip 6 also comes with this multi-page widget mode, which means that you can have multiple widgets on the same page now. And just like the Galaxy AI stuff, I mean, I don't see a reason why you should not be able to port it down to the Galaxy Z Flip 5, but that's something new here on the Z Flip 6. And as with so many Z Flip users, I use my phone in this camcorder mode, which is where you just fold it in half and you record like this. And Samsung has really leaned into it here on the Z Flip 6 with a dedicated camcorder mode that actually has a zoom rocker that can zoom from your 0.6 camera all the way with digital zoom to I think 10x or some ridiculous quality like that. So that is nice to have. I don't see why it should not come to the Z Flip 5 as well with a software update, but I can understand if they keep it exclusive at least for a while on the Z Flip 6. It was really cool when I saw it. It really felt like a real camcorder. And lastly is the telephoto zoom I briefly mentioned earlier, which is now on the Z Flip 6, there is this automatic telephoto zoom thing where I think we've seen it with Apple before with in video mode where you move in the frame and it will automatically adjust to where you are. But now it's in photo mode on the Z Flip 6, which means that I saw the demo, you're able to like just put the phone down and then walk as far away as you want, maybe not too far away, and it will automatically crop to where you are. And I think this one is one that we can definitely not get on the Z Flip 5 because the Z Flip 6 now has a 50 megapixel main camera, and this is I think probably made possible because of that 50 megapixel camera. So yeah, I think this is a super cool feature, especially, you know, if you're taking lots of photos of yourself, of your friends, or you put your phone down on the table, on the floor, and then you want to sort of get a photo where it just has your face in it. I think this is a super cool feature that is really nice here on the Z Flip 6. Okay, so after all of that comparison, what do I really think of the Z Flip 5 versus the Z Flip 6? And most importantly, do I think the Z Flip 6 is what an upgrade from the Z Flip 5? Well, for me, that would be a yes, but let me explain why. And we have to start at some of the things that really frustrated me when I used the Z Flip 5, such as the battery life, because sometimes, especially as someone who creates lots of videos, I had to charge this phone at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just to be able to get through the entire day. So having a bigger battery and an improved processor is one that I definitely welcome because yes, I definitely need that. Next is the RAM, and I think the vapor cooling chamber on the Z Flip 6, because you know, here on the Z Flip 5, I shot so many photos and videos on this phone, and yeah, there are many times where I finish recording a video, I open Instagram and it will just lag, like it will just start lagging, because again, this is what thermal throttling is, right? Where the phone gets so hot, so the phone then has to sort of reduce the performance so that it doesn't explode or something. So yeah, like because of that, I found myself on the Z Flip 5 having to sort of take a pause whenever I had recorded a video, or when I'm editing something on Instagram, I had to take a pause first so that the phone cooled down. So having a vapor chamber here on the Z Flip 6 and also a 12 gigabytes of RAM, because I also noticed sometimes like the Z Flip 5, especially video editing is one that trips this phone a lot. So I definitely welcome that 12 gigs of RAM as well. And I think one of my last pain points with the Z Flip 5 is the slippery edge. So because this phone is rounded, and yeah, that makes for a very comfortable feel in the hand, but it also makes for a very slippery phone. And I can definitely tell you confidently that there are many times where this Z Flip 5 was going to slip out of my hand. Z Flip 5, more of like Z Slip 5, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I'm so glad that there's a new square redesign, but even more importantly than the square redesign is the matte finish. So which means that when you hold it in the hand, the sides are not very slippery, which means you can just grab it properly, which I welcome a lot. So in conclusion, in my limited time with the Z Flip 6, I'll definitely say that I'm excited. In case you can tell or you cannot tell, I'm definitely very excited. It seems that Samsung listened to so many of the complaints I had about the Z Flip 5 here and improved it in the Z Flip 6 with, you know, the performance, the battery life, the design, all of that, yada, yada, yada. But over to you. What are your thoughts about the Z Flip 6 versus the Z Flip 5? Are you a Z Flip 5 user? Let me know what your thoughts are about the Z Flip 6. What are you most excited for? What feature did you want them to put in it and they did not put it? Let me know all of those things down there in the comment section down there below. And yes, that has been it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I think I'm very excited about the Z Flip 6. I think those upgrades are one I'm definitely looking forward to. And yeah, I've been your captain of awesome. This is Geekception. And don't forget to text me when you get home so I know you got home safe. And as always, don't forget to stay awesome. Bye.